I was listening to something. They were talking about it's similar to it. They were talking about like affirmative action, like getting kids from different areas to go to some of these like prestigious schools, you know, and that's what they did. Like with affirmative action, they do all these things, but they never look at the results and the effectiveness of those people in those schools and the graduation rates and things of that nature, you know, and how bad they do when they get into a school where they don't have the abilities of the other students
I
that got
mean,
there on their own merit.
but I don't think that's fair because first of all, a lot of kids don't have trouble in school, so that's just because they were put in that school and they all didn't prosper. Pretty sure there's people that were already in that school that didn't prosper. So I don't think that's fair. The second part is we also know that your letter grade in school doesn't necessarily determine how successful you are coming out, especially in early school. Like I don't think that everyone doesn't always excel in that to determine whether they're going to excel later in life. So I also don't think that's fair. And then thirdly, I think that exposing people to different culture is important and can help mold and guide an individual that they might not have prospered in before. They've opened up new thoughts and ideas that they might not have been exposed to before. So I think that's the whole point of that.
At the risk of actually somebody who deserves to be in that school not being in that school because you want to do affirmative action, so you can have other people in the school, create a diverse class or whatever the case is, diverse body of students.
I mean,
so you just put individuals from different places in there to interject them in there.
Check this out.
And the graduation rates are not good at all when you look at the stats.
You and I had a conversation before about like culture, right? And changing culture. And then I was like, how you going to do that, bro? But we figured that's one of those steps of changing culture, exposing people to different cultures. That's part of that step. Is it the answer? No. But it's one of the tools that can be used to help expose others to try to change a culture.
They're going to kill that affirmative action BS. I get what you're saying, but I don't. I'm more like culture, personal responsibility, like environment. All of those things are very important. Like I always think about it like if you don't have the ability to like both think for yourself and think abstractly a little bit, create like think and ideas in your head and be able to maneuver from the ideas, you think you're gonna have a hard time. I don't think taking a kid that's not qualified because of the color of his skin and putting him into school with other kids who got there from their own merit, I don't think that makes any sense. I think instead of putting that kid and interjecting that school kid because I want to have some color or some other kids in the school, instead of doing that, that kid didn't make it into the school. Let me get other kids that actually made it into the school with their own merit instead of like, you're taking, because the more you put other people in there because of that, you're taking the opportunity from somebody who actually deserved to be in the school based off their own merit.
Again, that I get what you're saying, but to that other point, how do you change? How do you answer those questions? How do you change? This is how. These are like, I don't think those solutions are one fits all. I don't think those solutions are a flick of a switch and everything just changes. We also know that putting someone in a different environment, putting someone around other people that might be smarter than you, learn, you become better. You start to have ideas you might not have had previously. You start to learn things you might not have been exposed to previously. Like those things actually work. So to say like it's unnecessary or it doesn't work or it shouldn't be done, I don't think that's fair. And to say like you should have these ideas, everyone has the same cards but not the same hand.
I'm just saying, yeah, you want to put different kids in the school and have a melting pot of different cultures in the school. That's great. I had that at St. Benedict's. But when it comes to prestigious institutions, if you don't meet the merit,
no,
you just shouldn't go there.
I don't disagree.
And
now,
that's what I'm saying. That's what
we don't
affirmative
disagree.
action does. Affirmative action still puts kids in those schools
I don't think
deserve to be there.
I don't think you should be a D student in one school and then put in a prestigious school. Like I don't think that's fair. Like no, That shouldn't happen. But if you want to expose someone who normally might not have had access to that school and give them access to that school, I think that's fair. I don't see anything wrong with that. As long as they're qualified. I don't like
Well,
the
that's the problem. That's
unqualification
the
of
problem.
things.
They're qualified. As long as they're qualified, like I said,
I
we're
don't
not having this
disagree.
discussion.
I don't disagree.
We're not having this discussion, but putting people in places that aren't qualified.
But here's my thing also. Because if we look at that, I would like to assume that means nobody is getting D's in those schools. Nobody is failing. So if nobody's failing and only those people are failing, then you have a point. But if anybody else fails that was already in that school, then no, I don't agree
The
with your point.
graduation rates are terrible. The graduation rates are terrible.
That's not
Nobody looked into the graduation rates.
That's not what I'm asking you. What I'm saying is,
Of course, there are going to be other students who.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, of course, there are going to be other students, but those students got there on their own merit.
So if they failed and the other guy failed, what is the difference? The result is the same.
The other guy was going to fail anyway.
So the
other guy didn't get there on his own merit.
Then that means he wasn't qualified to be there either. Then if he failed, the success rate should be 100% outside of those students who were interjected. If that's the case, then I would say
100% success rate is a lot.
The people so then that means it's fair. So because if they're not the only ones failing, then that means there was other people in there who weren't qualified as well.
Yeah, I'm not mixing anybody in because of the color of their skin. I'm kind of happy with this whole movement that's going on, because I always didn't care about it, but somebody would say, well, it's easy for me not to care about it, because of your lighter skin complexion. And my argument would be to them is, well, I see people your skin complexion that are uberly successful. How did they do it? Why did they do it? What's the difference?
Well, again, same thing what I'm saying with the school. If they failed, what's the difference?
The difference is they made it there on their own merit.
Obviously, they weren't qualified.
That doesn't mean they weren't qualified.
They failed. They weren't qualified. All the qualified students graduated.
Yeah, you're arguing with a straw man. That's not what
I'm
I'm saying.
I don't think I am.
That's not what I'm saying. You're taking what I'm saying out of context.
No. You're saying the students were underqualified who were interjected into that school. That's what you're saying.
Right.
And I'm saying that
they wouldn't have got there on their own merit, basically. The students that you're talking about that got in there and would have and possibly failed, they got there on their own merit. They got there on their own merit. I'm not looking at their stats. I'm looking at the stats of the kids who didn't get there on their own merit, who got there because, like, let's say affirmative action or some other whatever got them in there.
But I mean, that applies to the same students who get accepted to schools because of nepotism. The same students who get accepted to school because their parent built the library. Like, they don't. That happens in so many other facets. So instead of it being affirmative action, someone father might have built the library. Someone father graduated from there and was an alumni. Like, so it happens in all walks. It's just coded differently.
Well, that'll be closer to what I'm talking about. You didn't get there on your own merit.
And that'll
be close to what I'm talking about. You didn't get there on your own merit. I'm not talking about the students that got there on their own merit and didn't pass or whatever the case is. The student you're talking about, that'll be good, whatever complexion they are. If your father built the school or something, yeah, you got there because of nepotism. You didn't get there because
I don't disagree.
So I get what you're saying. And a lot of people that have these positions and get these positions because of nepotism and things of that nature. A lot of them are government jobs because they pass down from family to family. And look how the government takes care of things.
Exactly. But the problem, unfortunately, those things is never going to change. You're never going to convince a guy. Of course I'm going to get my son hired here. Like, the fuck, what you mean? Of course I'm going to get my daughter a job here. Like, those things will never change. I want to get my kid into school. Of course I'm going to make a donation if I can afford it. Like, you can't change those things. You can't stop it. You can't control it. So that's why you have those other programs to give everyone the same access. You're giving everyone the same access. You're just highlighting that one because they happen to be black, but that access is given to so many different others just differently. It's just coded differently. Now, if you want to say, but it's easy to say, just because you built the library, you can't get in there. It's easy to say that, but it's hard to control. It's hard to eliminate.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I just don't like I don't like people getting anything without putting the work in.
But unfortunately, the world doesn't work that way. How hard you work doesn't dictate your success. How good you are doesn't dictate your success. Whether it's fair or not,
It can dictate your success.
but that's not.
You're
But it
probably
doesn't.
better off if you're better equipped than the next person.
So say you. But if my father's the CEO and he gives me a high ranking position, I don't need to be qualified. I don't need to be qualified.
So
It's irrelevant.
What are you saying though? What are you saying though?
What I'm saying is,
if your father's a CEO, you don't need to be qualified. And now, what if something happens where we need a qualified person to make a decision? Now you can't make the decision.
What? Maybe not. Maybe the people I hire under me make those decisions. But all I'm saying is, the best person being the best at it doesn't dictate. It's a lot of people who probably rap better than Jay-Z who don't sell the records. Like, just because you're the best doesn't mean you're going to get that opportunity.
So what are you saying though? You don't got to be the best. What are you saying? Like, what is your overall message? You don't have to be the best. Like, that makes no sense to me. You should probably be the best you can possibly be, and you have way better opportunity if you do that. I would argue that.
What you were saying was you want the best person to have the job. You want the best person to be the one to succeed. What I'm saying is, that's not always the case. The best person doesn't always get guaranteed the success.
So is that a good thing? You're saying? I'm saying that's not a good thing.
I'm just telling you that's just the way it is. It's not changing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's my point. I don't think it's changing. I know. That's what I'm saying.
So you having the same argument. You're on my side.
Yes, like I don't disagree with you. I'm just pointing it out.
Your merit.
Yeah, I'm just pointing it out. Like, I dig what you're saying, Ron. I'm just always trying to remind you, you're one of one. Like, I don't disagree with you, but I just don't think it's realistically a possibility. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, this is bad.
I would like it to be fair. I would like it to be just equal across. You put in the most work, you're the most talented, you get the job. You put in the most work, I mean, you get the promotion. Whatever it is, you're at your job, you work the hardest, you have the result, you should get the promotion. But we know that's not the case.
Well, yeah, depending on what's going on and how you lined up. Because I worked with a lot of people who that they were in higher positions, but I didn't see why they were in a high position. I didn't see that why they were. I didn't see where they were so much better than the next person, like, a regular associate or whatever the case may be.